Man, it's the T-Train Show. Y'all know what time it is, man. What up, T? What up, Hot Rod? What up, L-Train? Y'all know what time it is, man. It's the
Welcome to another edition of 3 the Hard Way. All of you out there know how we roll, but let me introduce my fellas. The host of The Locker Room, the influencer, Mr. Hot Rod, Rodney Young. What's going on, Hot Rod?
Fellas, what is going on? This is your friendly neighborhood coach, and y'all know what I say. You may not like what I'm saying, but you will listen.
And the captain of our ship, Mr. Terrence Austin T. What's up, man? What's going on?
What's happening, everyone out there, 3 the Hard Way Nation, and to you two gentlemen, let's get this ship underway. Let's get it rolling. Let's get it going.
Man, I feel like Florida Evans on Good Times when James passed away. Damn. Those Cavaliers, man, lost their first one with James Harden today. I know we got a lot of stuff to kind of dissect and regurgitate about that game. First thoughts about the Cavs game today, fellas, against Oklahoma City, the game that everybody was looking forward to.
I'm going to start here. Earlier in the week, they were saying now, OKC's got, their top 2 or 3 players out due to injury, so the Cavs should handle them. However, if the Cavs don't win, it's going to be a big deal, okay? Now, at the end of the day, these guys, all of them are professional athletes. I remember back in the day, I'm going to use football as our metaphor. When Bradshaw would be out and Swan and Stallworth would be out, they had a backup quarterback by the name of Cliff Stout, and the 2 receivers were Theo Bell and Larry Anderson.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
Now, they were no Stallworth and Swan or Bradshaw, but when those guys came in, hey, they held it down. And my dad used to say, hey, at the end of the day, they're still professional athletes, okay? Now, fast forward to today. First half, it was atrocious. We couldn't shoot well. Okay. We couldn't hold on to the ball. We kept turning the ball over and we couldn't stop them. Okay. Now, Charles Barkley said something about the fact starting those games at noon. He said when he was a player, he hated playing at noon. But of course, Shaq and Kenny were saying, hey, don't make excuses. Don't make excuses. All right. Bottom line, the Cavs got back into things in the second half, but it just wasn't enough. All right. Now, again, that's just one game. Yes, OKC is a better team than us. And I think early on, a few shows ago, L Train, you asked how do we measure up against OKC? And Hot Rod said, hey, it ain't even about OKC. Let's stay in the East.
Yeah.
How do we measure up against the Knicks,
Yep.
against Boston, against Detroit, Orlando, and Milwaukee? So that's, more of a concern right now. But again, today, yeah, we didn't play well. We didn't. And Hot Rod's got his takes about, Jared Allen and Evan Mobley being on the floor at the same time and some other things. Again, yeah, we came up short. Didn't play well at all in the first half. Didn't play well at all, but played well enough in the second half. But we just, came up short. OKC killed us on the boards,
Yeah.
and they're not a good rebounding team, but they killed us. So, things like that happen. Now, just like the other night, the Knicks got their butts handed to them by Detroit, and then they bounced back. I expect us to do the same thing. We got our butts handed to us today. Hey, they'll regroup and be ready in a couple of nights, I believe, when we do play Detroit, okay? I still love where our team is. Evan Mobley's got to get back into, the fix because he's been out for a while. Harden and everyone, still has to get used to playing with one another. But I like the direction that the Cavs are going in. I like what I see. Yeah, tough loss today. But again, there's still time, and I like where we are as a team. Yeah, we do have some things that we need to work on. Yeah, true. And we will figure it out and move forward. But I like this team where we are right now. So that's my take on today.
I'm not going to overreact, as I was telling Cap before we got on. I'm not going to overreact because at the end of the day, it's one game. But there are some things that were concerning today. Number one, they were absolutely atrocious in the first quarter. They were down by as much as 30
Yeah.
in the first quarter, and they just could not hit the broadside of a barn. Donovan Mitchell was off today. Jared Allen couldn't really get off. He had to battle Hardenstein. You know what I mean? So, but to give them credit, they did chip away. They started, they fought, and they got themselves back, and they tied the game coming out at halftime. I just think at there's a couple sequences that they could have got back. The rebounding was very, very crucial. I think if they would have, took a little bit more, I don't know what the answer is in terms of rebounding, because for me, rebounding is about effort. It's about want. You don't just let a team come out there who's terrible at rebounding, out rebound you. But I did see some good things. I saw some grit. I saw some fight. I see guys still trying to figure things out. Dean Wade was off today. Like I said, Donovan Mitchell, I'm really starting to think that Lou Dort does have his number, because he does not play well against Lou Dort. And so, but it's one game. Now, you don't have Williams and you didn't have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and you still lost. That's an issue, and that's something that you need to look at, because can you imagine if both those guys were on the floor? Now, Oklahoma City plays some hellacious defense. They get after you, okay? They get after the perimeter. They swarm, and that's why they're the defending champions. But I just wanted to see what the Cavaliers would do today. And in the beginning, I wanted to cut the TV off and throw the TV out the window. But they regrouped and they got back at it at the second half. I will say this. I am a firm believer that you cannot play Jared Allen and Evan Mobley together. I just think that experiment is done. I don't, and can't be laughing at me, but I'm serious, because when you look at Evan Mobley from an offensive standpoint, he has nothing. He can't play with his back to the basket because he's too light in the tail, okay? His handles are not that great where he's taking guys off the dribble. He's 30% or less from the three-point line. They passed him the ball at a crucial part of the game today, and he missed. And I knew he was going to miss. I knew he was going to miss, okay? And so, and everybody missed me with this mindset of, he's going to take that next step. Evan Mobley is who he is. He's not going any further. That 18 and 8, that is who he is. That is who he's going to be. So stop trying to think that he's going to pop off one, and turn into a 35 and 15 kind of guy. He's not. And I think because of James Harden being present, now you see the real Jared Allen. So now you are mucking up the paint with him and Mobley. So my thing is, go ahead and throw Dean Wade at the 4, put Jared Allen at the 5, and Jalen Tyson at the 3 with Harden and Donovan Mitchell, or you can interchange with Sam Merrill, because Sam Merrill is the one that brought them back.
Right.
Sure can.
Okay. So you can interchange that. And I think if you bring Mobley off the bench, which I know our fans are going to be like, that's sacrilegious, but if you bring him off the bench, tell me a second unit center that's going to be able to guard Evan Mobley, even with his limited offensive game. None. There's nobody out there. And then with that, when you add Naquan Tomlin, when you add Dennis Schroeder, when you add those bench guys, because I don't think Max Strus is coming back. I think
I would have to agree with you. I would have to agree with you.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back. I think he's gonna be like Ty Jerome was when we first got Ty Jerome. Remember, he injured his foot when we got him from Golden State, and he didn't play an entire season. He played one game, and then he was done for the rest of the season. So no, it's one game. I think they've won. I think before this one, it was like 6 or 7 in a row, and that's
6 in a row.
fine. Yeah. So now that tells you you're not there yet. But I wouldn't expect them to be. I just wanted to see them compete, and I think in the second half they did.
Yeah. And I want to throw this in before you go, L Train. Another thing I noticed today, and OKC, they are the champs, but they're starting to get the superstar calls based on the refs. The refs were in their back pocket today, and I don't like that. I don't. Yeah, granted, they're the champs, but they're the baby champs. They haven't been around a long time. They haven't really established anything. So yeah, the referees are definitely on their side, and I did not like that.
Because that goaltend, it was a goaltend.
Yeah, but they ain't been around. Yeah, that sure was a goaltend.
It was a goaltend, and it turned into a 5-point swing on an obvious goaltend that Schroeder put off the glass. And it was an obvious goal, and you don't miss that. But also, I think, real quick, Kenny Atkinson, when it comes to challenging things, you're not going to bed with the challenge. Just go ahead and use it. If you don't get it, you don't get it. But that was an obvious goaltend.
Yeah.
It was obvious.
It
and like I said, it was a 5-point swing.
It sure was.
Yep. When you look at the Oklahoma City Thunder, they've been getting those calls, T, for the past couple of years, man. Y'all,
they haven't earned it yet.
No, man.
They haven't earned it.
Yeah,
they ain't earned it.
Yeah, all the upheaval and the players been complaining about it. You heard, with the stud over there with the Spurs, he talked about the amount of calls that they get. I mean, man, they've been getting calls for the past 2 years. Great team, but they've been getting a lot of calls. In terms of the Cleveland Cavaliers, before the All-Star break, fellas, if you remember, I called it. This is not going to be the end for the Cleveland Cavaliers. The Cleveland Cavaliers, before this thing gets right, they are going to lose some games. Like when you talk about, the lack of practice time that they have had, you know how the NBA rolls, and now you're starting to integrate players back into the fold that have been missing along with the players that they have traded for. It's going to take a time for everything to gel and everything to mesh. And they're going up against an Oklahoma City Thunder that has that foundation that the Cavs are kind of looking for right now. They've got some things figured out. Even when you miss players, like they had a couple players out today, you still have that foundation that helps get you through. The Cleveland Cavaliers are going to get there with their players. I just like the makeup of this team. So, when you look at their games going down the stretch, I expect for them to drop a few. From a fan standpoint, I just wanted them to get this Oklahoma City game tonight to keep that undefeated streak going with the beard.
Right.
But I know they're going to drop some games. In terms of Mobley, Hot Rod, I'm right there with you. I think that's going to be a hard sell to bring Mobley off the bench. I don't know how well that's going to go over in the organization. I don't know how well that's going to go over in the locker room. But your vision is 1,000% correct.
Oh yeah,
you're
onto something.
Yeah, you can see it that it's not the same team when they're playing the two bigs at the same time on the floor compared to when he was out. So if Hot Rod, your thought is absolutely correct, man. From a coaching standpoint, I know people tout you as a football coach, but you've got a basketball mind too. Hey, man, I think to keep the Cleveland Cavaliers, it will be in their best interest to make a move like that sooner than later.
So the next 3 games, they had the Thunder today.
Yeah.
They have the Knicks, the Bucks, and the Pistons. So it's not going to get any easier.
Nope,
sure isn't.
No.
So this is trial by fire, and I love it. Trial by fire.
Yeah. So we'll see down the stretch, man. They're going to get better. One thing that I want to touch on, fellas, is that I got a lot of emails and things about the All-Star game and what went on in the All-Star game. For years, they have been trying to figure out how to fix that thing. Back when we were kids growing up, that was the show. You had all the greats putting on the show in the game, and then the three-point contest and the slam dunk was something. You know what? I think the NBA has gotten something figured out with the All-Star game. I like the format. I like the young bucks versus the guys from overseas versus the old heads. I thought it was very entertaining. I don't know how much you guys had an opportunity to watch that, but did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it, and I just hope it has some staying power, okay?
Yep.
I hope it has some staying power because, again, prior to this most recent format, it was a laugher, it was a sleeper, it was nothing to really, really pay any attention to. It was like the score could have been, the final score prior to this last format, 180 to 166 or something like that, okay? Because there was no defense. It was just an up and down, layup line. But this most recent format, is something that could possibly, bring some excitement back to the game, okay? And then to add to it, too, I would like maybe, some of the skills contests to maybe go down to maybe some one-on-one or 2 versus 2, players. Okay. 2-on-2 or 1-on-1. That may add some excitement because they need to do something. Okay. Because again, the, all-star game is just as worse as the NFL Pro Bowl game. I think the only 2 sports that get it right are baseball and hockey. Okay. But again, the most recent format, I just hope it has some staying power because it was different and it was a little bit more exciting.
I'm willing to adjust, but I'm old school. I'm sorry. I grew up watching Isaiah Thomas throw a bounce lob to Michael Jordan off the backboard. I watched Shaquille O'Neal absolutely demolish David Robinson in the NBA All-Star game. I'm used to, when Jordan hit the last shot over Sean
Those days are
Marion.
gone, no Hot Rod. Those
Yeah,
days are
I
gone.
just
Those days are gone.
for me, now to answer the question, I love this format. I think it's okay. I can go with it. Ant Edwards showed who he really is. I love that. But like I
Wemby played
said,
hard. Wemby
I
played real
know it's
hard.
I know it's a new generation. You know what I mean? But I just feel like that the banana boat guys are the reason why the All-Star game had dwindled the way it did. And the banana boat guys is your Carmelo Anthony, LeBron James, Chris Paul, because they got in there and they didn't take it serious. I think the last real serious game was
when Kobe
the
slapped the
late
floor
great
and said,
Kobe
hey,
Bryant was in it.
Yeah, when Kobe slapped the floor.
And that was the last one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The slam dunk competition is awful. It's awful.
Yeah.
That Matt McClung didn't get in this year. No, because they didn't want a guy coming in who ain't even on the NBA team.
Right.
Okay, winning the slam dunk competition. You need to bring these guys out. Money talks. You know what I mean? But the format is nice. I like it. I like the way, like I said, the old heads went against the new school went against the Europeans. You know what I mean? It was entertaining. It was. I can't say it wasn't entertaining, but I just have to throw it in there. I'm still old school.
Yeah, I'm old school right there with you, man. I think injury and ego is what hurts the NBA. And these guys, when it was just the East versus West format, it got to the point where these guys were using the excuse, well, they don't want to go out there, compete, and get hurt for the rest of the season. Obviously, that wasn't a problem in this last All-Star game because there was a level of competition out there. Guys just wanted to win. The Young Bucks wanted to beat the old heads. Both United States teams wanted to beat the guys from overseas. So you've got to psychologically find a way to motivate these guys where they're getting into those situations. They want to compete and they want to perform. T, I think you're right. Trying to open that thing up to a one-on-one competition or some 2-versus-2, like the female game, like the women's game is doing on that side. I thought that, man, that was,
they go at it.
That was
girls go at it.
But here's
they
the
go
deal.
At it.
All of their best players play in the one-on-one competition. I don't see that happening in the NBA. Dudes with those egos, they are not going to.
And their big brands,
their
big brands,
they are not going to want to get beat one-on-one on national TV.
Sure. Have it all over social media. Have it all over social media. Yeah, they don't want that. They don't want that.
That is not going to happen. But I don't know which one of you said this a few minutes ago. I can't remember, but money talks. So I think your only chance is to put some sort of purse out there where these guys can benefit from some money. And I think you probably still won't get the elite players that don't need the money, but I think you'll go from the B-level players that will enter anything to at least some semblance of good players playing in those type of competitions, fellas. So that's where I'm at.
I got it. And here's a suggestion from me. I really think that if you wanted to do a 2-on-2 or 3-on-3, how about go ahead and partnership with Ice Cube and the Big Three and take a group from the NBA, current NBA, 3-on-3 against some, maybe the champions of the Big Three. Something of that nature. Something that now you can incorporate what Ice Cube is doing, which is a good product, watching some of the old heads that can still play, the Steven Jacksons, the Mahmoud Abdul-Raufs, those guys that can still play at a high level. something of that nature. But I mean, this format is not bad. I'm just spitballing. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna ask you guys this because you brought up the topic of Ice Cube. Fellas, are you surprised that that league is still around? I mean, Ice Cube's doing a fantastic job with that league. When it first came about, I thought, I don't know how long this is gonna last. But it's got staying power, fellas.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised is still around, and I watch it from time to time. Okay, so I'm kind of surprised, and it's good. I like to see those old guys go at it and have fun on the sideline. So hey, I'm surprised it's still around, and I'm glad it is because I like Cube because he's really worked hard. He's really put a lot into it. He counted on some people to kind of help him along the way, and they kind of fizzled out, but that didn't make him lose his thunder, lose his, his ability and want and desire to keep that thing going. So, it is going, and I'm glad for him. I really am. I'm glad for him.
Yeah, and I know for a fact that the NBA is not, I threw it out there spitballing, but I know the NBA is not happy with the big three. They don't like it.
No.
And Cube
No.
has come out repeatedly and
Mhm.
said of ways that the NBA has been trying to shut that league down. But it's too much staying power, it's too many guys who can still play. Like I said, your Steven Jacksons, your Joe Johnsons, those guys are still, still playing. Then you can look on the sideline and you got Dr. J coaching one team. You got Charles Oakley coaching another. You got legends out there that are coaching teams. So I originally said, man, this might not work. But to Ice Cube's credit, his stick-to-itiveness, it is a good product. I will literally sit down and watch the big three.
Yeah.
And just from nostalgia standpoint, like, when you see a guy, you're like, oh, I wonder what happened to him. Okay. All right. I see he's still out here hooping. And it's still some good money in it too.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
you know what I mean? So I shout out to Ice Cube, man. I do. I love it.
Yeah, Ice Cube's doing a fantastic job with that league, man. I am really floored that that league is still around. Again, when he first started, I thought, okay, this could be a couple of years, but that thing seems to be growing and growing and growing. Fellas, let's transition to the NFL a little bit. A couple things I want to run past you. I'm looking at the Cleveland Browns situation, and there's been a lot of quarterback talk. Obviously, I thought the quarterback talk would be Deshaun Watson, Shador Sanders. What are they going to do there? But the Cleveland Browns have been rumored to be looking at, or at least entertaining, the thought of bringing somebody in substantial. I've heard Tua Tagovailoa. I've heard Kyler Murray. I've heard Malik Willis. I'm hearing all these names, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Do you see the Cleveland Browns bringing in somebody other than the guys that they have in their quarterback room currently? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I've been hearing that stuff too. And what's the guy from Indianapolis and the Richardson kid? His name has
Oh,
come
yeah,
up too.
yep,
Okay,
yep.
yeah, his name has come up too. I hope not. Okay, I hope not. For right now, we got Shador, Deshaun Watson, and Dylan Gabriel. Now, again, if Dylan Gabriel wants to go join Stefanski or go elsewhere, yeah, we can part with him. But for right now, all those names that have come up. Kyler Murray sounds a little intriguing, just a little intriguing because he plays hard. And I remember coming out of high school, he was the best player in the state of Texas. And that says a lot because Texas is loaded with football players.
Yeah.
So that kid was great coming out of high school. He really was. But he's always, in my eye, been too small for me, although he does play hard. And if you look at his numbers, he's not really that bad. But to answer your question, L Train, with all of this talk of these other guys, no, let's just, deal with Shador and Deshaun Watson and whatever they decide to do, with Gabriel. To add to that, and I'm sure Rod's going to speak to it with, our offensive lineman, who is it? Dred Wills, the one that says he wants to go. Wants to turn his name into free agencies. We need an entire offensive line, okay? We need somebody up front to block for our running back and for whomever plays quarterback. So the answer right now, bringing in another quarterback, we need an offensive line. We need to focus on that first and foremost. That's the priority, if you ask me. But yeah, I've heard those other names, and none of them have been exciting, to me. So let's work with the room that we currently got and build a daggone offensive line. That's what we need to do.
Yep.
The Cleveland media is in their last ditch effort to try to bring somebody in here for whatever reason. It's the Cleveland media, not everybody, but most of them, that's trying to bring somebody in. Nobody wants Malik Willis because he had one decent season as a backup in Green Bay. He's been in the league for a few years now, and he hasn't. Okay. Kyler Murray, sure, let's go ahead and get another 5'0" 100 quarterback.
Yep.
Let's do
No
that.
thanks.
That'll solve our problems. Okay. You know, you had an opportunity to draft Jalen Milroe, but you didn't do it. Okay. And so I do understand, but this is not the platform for me to talk about it. But I do understand why the media, they're trying to push this narrative, and they're trying to push it really, really, really hard. And so at the end of the day, you will see Shedeur Sanders, you will see Deshaun Watson, possibly, and you will see Dylan Gabriel. This is going to be the key on what Kevin Stefanski was thinking. If he doesn't trade for Dylan Gabriel, there's something wrong. There's something absolutely wrong because the Browns want Dylan Gabriel gone. And so why not send him to Atlanta? But if Stefanski doesn't want him, then I question some things. And we could talk about that later, but
You question you question some things from Stefanski's standpoint on what he okay. Yep.
Yeah, I'm questioning from a sabotage type thing.
Yep.
Because if you thought he was so great,
right,
that you spent a 3rd round pick on him, and now you're in Atlanta and probably could get him for next to nothing, and you haven't traded for him, something's amiss.
Yeah.
Okay. But that quarterback room, if anything, if Gabriel is gone and you have Shedeur and you have Watson, I said this, that in the draft, I think between the 5th and 6th round, they're going to grab Drew Aller from Penn State. Drew Aller's 6'6". He's got a cannon of an arm. I think they will grab
his size.
him.
I love his
They'll
size.
get him for next to nothing, and they'll make him the third quarterback. I mean, you can't teach size. Now, the knock on Drew Aller, plus he's an Ohio kid. The knock on Drew Aller is Drew Aller doesn't really know the game yet.
Yeah.
So he would be a developmental project. Okay.
And that's fine. That's fine.
And that's fine. But stop getting me with all these retreads, these bums, you know, these guys. Listen, you know what? I can't wait for them to say, maybe we need to go get Shane Falco. Let's do that. Let's go get Shane Falco and bring Shane Falco.
Who is he?
The movie, you haven't seen The Replacements?
Never heard of him.
Shane Falco. Let's go ahead and get Footsteps Falco.
You going to the Replacements.
Yes, that's the way the Cleveland media sounds today.
Yeah.
That's the way they sound. I don't know what the hate is. I do, but I don't.
Is it the hate that they have for Deshaun Watson? Let's just go ahead and throw it out there. Is that the case?
And
Shedeur, just like they have for him?
They have a hate for both of them. And so here's my thing with Shedeur, and I'll be politically correct with this. They have a confident young African-American kid who is sure of himself. He understands who he is. He understands the cloth he's made from. He came in and he through his social media and had money. You know, he just speaks positive, and it's just funny because we're in a negative mode in this nation now, that you got a kid who's positive, who ain't out here doing any. The craziest thing he did was a speeding ticket. The three of us that had how many speeding tickets in our lives?
I should have had 2,000.
Right. He had a speeding ticket. Okay. And all he wants to do is win. And that's all he talked about. That's all he talks about. Now, let me preface this. I always say I'm not a Shedeurian. I just want to give that kid the opportunity. If he's not it, you have a backup insurance policy in Deshaun Watson. And if that don't work, then you either go to your 3rd string quarterback, you go get Snoop Huntley, because I know they bring in Snoop Huntley all the time. Go ahead and get you a quality veteran backup. Listen, let this kid play. We got bigger fish to fry when it comes to the offensive line, when it
And wide
comes to the
receivers.
wide receivers. Okay, we need to focus in on that. So miss me with this Malik Willis stuff. Miss me with this Kyler Murray stuff. Because I'm out here in Arizona and I understand why the Cardinals are going to get rid of Kyler
That's
Murray.
right. You see it up close and personal.
Yeah, you're there. Yeah,
Yeah,
you're there.
I know why they want to get rid of Kyler Murray. So why would I want to send Kyler Murray to my hometown team? No. The best thing for Kyler Murray to do is go play baseball because it ain't going to be too many teams that's going to want him around. He's like a
Right.
poor man Seth Curry.
Oh.
You hear that, Marcus? You hear that, Marcus?
I'm going to listen, man. I like where the Cleveland Browns quarterback room is. I don't think that they should mess with it. You know, outside of getting someone elite coming in there, I don't know how they do that, but their quarterback room is fine for another year. They need to give Shedeur another good look. They need to see if Deshaun Watson has anything left. We all know about Dylan Gabriel and where he is. Where I have a little bit of pushback is not on Hot Rod's take, because I think he's absolutely right. But I'm talking about this Malik Willis kid from Green Bay. I think this kid is a bona fide elite athlete, and he hasn't just had one good year of being a backup quarterback. He had 2 good years. Jordan Love was hurt, not this past season. He was hurt this past season, but he was also hurt the previous season. And Malik Willis came in there for 4 games that the Packers should have lost and won those 4 games for the Pack. Did the same thing again this year. But what people don't realize, Hot Rod, and you would have an appreciation for this, with the Green Bay Packers, he's getting elite level coaching. He's getting elite level scheming. It is not like that everywhere. If we haven't learned anything about the NFL, is a quarterback may not look very good one place, but when they go somewhere else and get that elite level coaching, I mean, look at the Super Bowl champ, Sam Darnold. He was trash in New York, and he was trash with the Carolina Panthers. And now he's got some coaching, and he was damn near almost the MVP of the Super Bowl and then won the Super Bowl. So I think my message to a guy like Malik Willis is, I recognize the talent that he has. Man, he's just got to go to the right place. And all of the teams that are interested in Malik Willis are teams that are absolutely terrible, that have either a young, inexperienced coach or a coach that's not doing a great job with the franchise, and they think that they can plug and play a guy like Malik Willis and have him do the same things that he's doing with the Green Bay Packers. If I'm Malik Willis, I would look at my next contract that I'm going to sign and not this one. I'm going to take a little bit less to go with a better team with better coaching so I can put up the stats and do what I need to do with elite level coaching. So now my next contract that I sign, that's going to be the big one. If he goes out and chases the money and look at all the teams that are interested in him, man, he is going to fail quickly, because those teams, T, to your point, either don't have great offensive lines, they don't have great coaching, they don't have great running game. They are not the Green Bay Packers. And so that's what people are missing from this Malik Willis guy. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? No. I would even shudder to say that he's top 10 in the league. He hasn't proven that yet. But I think the guy has a really, really high ceiling. He just needs to be in the right situation. And as far as Kyler Murray, he's rumored to be coming up here with the Minnesota Vikings. Man, I am all about rolling with J.J. McCarthy. Kyler Murray really doesn't move the needle for me. There's a lot of off the field stuff. There's a lot of locker room stuff. There's a lot of teammate stuff. I just don't know if he is that guy, and I wouldn't want him for the Vikings or the Cleveland Browns. Cleveland Browns, stick with that quarterback room.
I could see Malik Willis easily, be a Pittsburgh Steeler. I don't know why I keep saying I could see that, because right now he's coming with a high price tag.
Yep.
And that's another reason why I know the Browns won't. They're not going to spend $30 million when they got Deshaun Watson and they paying him like, $1.5 billion for this season. They're not going to spend it. That would just be ludicrous. And so that's why I'm like, the Cleveland media needs to stop. They need to stop. They didn't win. They didn't get Shedeur. They didn't run him out of here like they do everybody else.
That's right.
They didn't do that. So they need to just stop. I mean, they even got Tony Grossi where he's like, you guys stop. Tony Grossi, of all people, is like, look, we're going to roll with Shador.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
so it's like,
Yeah.
y'all, Mary Kay Cabot, all of y'all stop. Just stop.
Mm-hmm.
Man, we got a new segment on the show. We're going to get to our mailbag. I know a lot of you have been emailing me like, man, you guys don't do the fan questions anymore. We're going to fix that problem today, but we got a new segment on the show. Hot Rod. Hot Rod wants to call some people out. This is Hot Rod's coaches call out. Hot Rod, who you calling out?
Go ahead, Hot
today,
Rod.
Coaches call out, man. Listen, I understand I do 2-a-days, but this goes beyond 2-a-days. I'm going to call out, stupidity in sports. And let's take the first victim. The first victim is Lonzo Ball.
Uh-oh.
Lonzo Ball had the nerve to come out and say that the Cavaliers used him as a scapegoat.
Come on.
Bro, I need you to really listen to Coach Young, okay? Dude, you stunk, all right? You stunk. You were less than 30% from the field, and even worse than that from the three-point line.
Yeah.
Listen, I try to root for you. I do root for you, okay? I know you had a devastating injury. You were out a year and a half. You came back. Hey, I applaud you. But don't sit there and try to make the Cavaliers as if they just got rid of you because, you felt that you were performing. You weren't. You were not performing. And if you look, when it comes to the playoffs, teams need shooters.
Yeah.
And you could not shoot. I watched you drive, and you would kick the ball out. Lonzo.
Like Ben Simmons.
That's it. Lonzo, stop. Go to the gym. Get your J back. Keep working, but keep your mouth shut. Let your father do the talking, because at least we know he crazy, okay? at least we know that he's crazy. So my coach's call out is to Lonzo Ball, because if you were that good after the Cavs let you go, your brother would have went to the Charlotte Hornets and said, come on, let's pull my brother in. He didn't even do that. So that's telling you where you at, bruh. Stop it. I said, I'm a root for you. I want you to come back because you seem to be a quality dude. But don't sit up there and make it seem like the Cavs did not make a good business decision by going on ahead and getting rid of you, because they gained Dennis Schroeder and Keon Ellis, who's been playing really well. So it was addition by subtraction. So my coach's call out is the Lonzo Ball. Keep your mouth shut, dude.
Coaches call out to Alonzo Ball. Yeah. Hot Rod, tell them how you really feel, man. Tell them how you really feel.
Man.
Coaches call out.
Man.
Like the new segment. Let's open the mailbag, man. I got tons of these that I just want to try to get through. Those that wrote in questions that we don't get to today, we'll get to them in future episodes. First one is from Marcus in Baltimore. This is an NFL question. He says, fellas, are we overrating elite quarterbacks just because of what Patrick Mahomes has done with the Chiefs?
Wow. You go ahead and take that, Hot Rod.
No, I don't think so. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is elite. Josh Allen, elite. You know what I'm saying? We do have some elite quarterbacks.
Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, Lamar Jackson. We do have some elite quarterbacks. You know what I mean? The young fella for for Washington, Daniels. You know, he was injured, but no, I don't think that quarterbacks.
And Caleb Williams is coming too. Caleb is coming.
I don't think that they're being overrated. I think it depending on what generation you in, see, because the three of us, we had Elway, we had Marino, you know what I mean? Dan Fouts, Montana, you know what I'm saying? We had quarterbacks like that. So I can't equate those quarterbacks to these quarterbacks, but there's an eliteness that is in each one of them. So I wouldn't say that we're overrating them. But I understand your question is a great question, but no, I don't think we're overrating them. I don't think so. I don't think the league is.
Yeah, I think we're overrating mediocre quarterbacks and calling them elite where they haven't done anything yet. I think that's the problem with the NFL. But elite
Mhm.
quarterbacks. No, I don't think we're overrating them. I think they're key to your
Mm-mm.
franchise being really
Mhm.
good.
Mhm.
Tyrone from Atlanta, Georgia. Man, we got people watching down in Atlanta. Um,
ATL.
he says, looking at the Seahawks, is running the ball still a championship formula in the NFL today? Do you see it going back to the way it was back in the day, or do you still see this as a passing league? Great question.
It's not going back to the way it used to be. However, it is still important because having a good running game sets up your passing game. Okay. So again, what you saw the Seahawks do, and what you see some other teams do by setting up the pass through a good running game. Yeah, it's very important and it's vital. It's not going to go back to the way it used to be, but it is vital. We have a heck of a running back in Junkins, and we can't wait for him to get back and be healthy, and that can only help our passing game, especially if we can do something with our offensive line. So no, it won't go back to what it used to be, but it's still vital and still important.
And now for me, I'm gonna go to the opposite side. The only reason I think it may is because this is a copycat league. This is a copycat league, and whatever floats your boat, whoever wins the championship and how they do it. Because if you can look at the Eagles, you can look at Saquon Barkley. Okay, when the Eagles got Saquon Barkley and they started focusing on that running game and they put them horses up front, with Jason Kelsey and those guys up front, it was hard to deal with the Philadelphia Eagles, and it took pressure off the quarterback. So you look at this Super Bowl and you saw what Kenneth Walker did. There is a possibility that running game, that form of getting that bruising back, that back in the backfield, can change things around. And so that's what I'm saying. It's a copycat league. So
Hmm.
you see Seattle won the Super Bowl and how they did it. So now you're gonna start
Hmm.
seeing teams, because even in Chicago with Caleb Williams throwing the ball all over the place, but they got a running game. They
Yeah.
have a pretty good
Yeah,
running
they
game.
do.
So
Yeah.
I
Hmm.
can, I can see it kind of, I'm gonna look this upcoming next season. Because remember, you got Genty, with the Raiders. You got
Hmm.
Quinshawn Junkins. You
Hmm.
know what I mean? We got some backs that are here. There's some stud type backs. So I can see it happening.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
can see it trending that way too, more so for the survival of these young quarterbacks out there. I think why some of these young quarterbacks have failed so quickly is because they stepped in to a passing league and the defenses know how to get to some of those young guys. So I think to have a stout running game to lean on, like you said, Hot Rod takes away a lot of the pressure, especially from some of these young quarterbacks. I don't think it's ever going to go back to the way it was, like Cap said, back into the olden days where it was 3 yards in a cloud of dust. But I
Uh-huh.
think it's going to be a situation where we're going to start not seeing the 42 to 45 pass attempts. You're going to see teams establishing the run, bigger offensive lines, because I think they're going to have to protect the quarterbacks that way. Derek from Minneapolis, I know why he's asking this question, but he said franchises seem to be really impatient with their young quarterbacks. They always say wait and see, but how long is wait and see? Do you wait multiple years, or is year number 2, should that be the truth?
Well, it used to be wait and see back in the day, but
Yeah.
not anymore. Hey, yeah, you come in, and if you can't get the job done, hey, you're out of here. It's on to the next. So it's no more wait and see. It's no more of holding the clipboard for 2 or 3 years behind the starter and learning. No, we draft you. We pay you. Well, we don't pay them a lot of money. They're on a rookie contract, but we draft you, and we have expectations right out of the gate,
Yep.
especially if you won at the high school level and if you were great in college. Hey, we expect you to come in and win because again, without that franchise quarterback, it's going to be, rough seas ahead. Just what we're experiencing right now in Cleveland, trying to find our quarterback. But those days of waiting around, no, those are no more, man. No more.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, they're not. You got to think. Bernie Kosar sat behind, Paul McDonald and
Hmm.
Gary Danielson,
Hmm.
what I
Hmm.
mean, before he was thrown in. I mean,
Hmm.
you look at, Brett Favre and oh, he's slipping my mind. You look at
Uh,
when Favre was in Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers.
right.
What's
Aaron
wrong with
Rodgers,
me?
yeah.
Yep.
Aaron
Aaron
Rodgers.
Rodgers was sitting behind him. You know what I mean? Boomer Esiason sat behind Ken Anderson.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? Those days are over. This is a microwave NFL now. You need to come in. If you the hot commodity in college, you need to be the hot commodity in the pros. If you are a first round draft pick, you should be an immediate starter. Where back in the day, you had to sit, you had to earn your keep. You had to earn that spot. You know what I mean?
Right.
But now, because teams want to win so quickly, teams
away.
want things to turn around right away. Hey, if I draft you in the third round, you should be a starter. That's the way that the NFL thinks now. And so that's why you get kids who come in and they're not ready.
Right.
They're not NFL ready. And
No.
then you're throwing them in the fire.
Yep.
And then now you want to rip them out after they done had 3 or 4 bad games. Well, what do you expect? It's a different level. So, no, yeah.
This is a great question. Flipping from the NFL to the NBA, I'm looking at all these questions, man. This is a good one. Chris, I'm calling you out, man, from Akron, Ohio. He says, fellas, you brought up LeBron James possibly coming back last show. Where does LeBron James rank all time if he wins one more ring in Cleveland? That's a great question.
Wow.
That's a great question.
Wow.
So what would that make it? That would make it 6?
5.
That would make it 5.
rings.
5? 5?
rings.
5 and 2. 2 in one of the hardest places to ever win a
Yeah.
championship, man.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think he's in the pantheon. You know,
Okay.
I really do, because not only has he had, won championships, and let's be honest, in 3 of the hardest places, even when you include Miami, but he's the all-time leading scorer, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, which people thought that would never happen.
Never happened,
Okay,
right.
and we also have to understand, Magic Johnson said this: LeBron James came into the league, he wasn't a scorer. They
Yep.
wasn't looking
Right.
at him. They looked
Right.
at him more of a facilitator.
Yeah.
Facilitator,
But
right.
and now he's the all-time leading scorer. He's in the pantheon. But this is the only time that you will hear me agree with Stephen A. Smith. I am not putting him ahead of Michael Jordan. I cannot.
Right.
He is in the rare air. He is up there. Him, Kobe, Bron, AI. He's up there. Okay, but the difference between, and this is it, and I know people gonna come for me, and y'all know I don't care. I'm for all the
You don't
smoke.
care, all right?
I don't be caring. Here's the thing: Michael Jordan, when he walked into an arena, was feared.
Right.
LeBron James, when he walks into an arena, is respected.
Respected, right.
There's a difference.
There's a difference. Big
Michael
difference.
put fear in dudes who we looked at as killers. Xavier McDaniel, Patrick Ewing, Akeem Olajuwon, those guys, Karl Malone. Okay, when Michael Jordan walked into, Vernon Maxwell says it the most, is that's the only player he had to go get sleep for, was for Michael Jordan. So Michael, and don't get me wrong, because I am a historian, because I also believe when you talk about that pantheon, the greatest of all time, why aren't people talking about Bill Russell? I don't care if you haven't seen him.
Right.
That man
Right.
won 16 championships.
Right.
You understand? You know what I'm saying? So yes, LeBron is in that pantheon, but am I going to put him at number 1?
No.
I don't know.
No, I couldn't.
Listen to me,
Yeah,
fellas.
good.
Listen to me. Y'all know where I stand with LeBron James. I am not, nor have I really ever been, a big LeBron James fan. And that hurts me because I'm from Cleveland. I want to like LeBron, but there are just some things that just kind of rub me the wrong way over the years. So this is hard for me to say. I would say this. If LeBron James came back next year, fellas, and he won another title in Cleveland, you're talking about a city that has been just enveloped in disappointments. They've been void of championships. To go other places, I would say this, guys, the same thing that would make him be in the conversation of being number 1 is the same thing that may hurt him. 2 championships in Cleveland, all right? 1 in Miami, 1 with the Lakers, even though it was a bubble championship. I
Two
think
in Miami.
yeah, 2 in Miami. I'm sorry.
Two in Miami.
Two in Miami, 1 with the Lakers, even though it was a bubble championship. I think him jumping around kind of taints his legacy, being able to build super teams and stuff like that. I think that taints his legacy a little bit. Bill Russell never did that stuff. You don't put together super teams. So that hurts LeBron a little bit. But the fact that he can win 2 in Cleveland along with the other ones, I think for the first time, the way I view him, I think that would put him in the conversation to be the greatest player of all time. Then you look at his longevity, fellas. He's still putting up numbers at his age right now.
is.
And to come
I'm
back.
watching him right now.
Oh, my
I'm
God,
watching
man.
him right now.
Coming back another year. I mean, come on, man. He would, again, I agree with Hot Rod. Jordan, from my take, is the greatest player that I have ever seen or ever had done any sort of research about. But man, LeBron wins another one in Cleveland, fellas. I think he's right there.
Yeah.
That's my opinion. Isaiah from Detroit, Michigan. For teams that are struggling, is tanking a smart strategy? Now, I know the commissioner has been working on things to try to alleviate all the tanking and stuff that's going on in the NBA. But if you were a team and you see this guy out there in college that you have a chance to get that will transform your franchise, is it a smart strategy to tank or is it not?
Well, for ownership and people that are in the business, when you talk about your general managers and owners, I guess it's a business decision, okay? It really is. Now, for the fans that are paying these outrageous prices to go see these games, to pay for parking, to pay for stuff at the concession stand, et cetera, high price tickets, it's not favorable for them unless you just want to go see the product, okay? But if you're a guy like myself, a Clevelander, someone from Cleveland that wants to win, I can kind of see it, both ways. I can see it both ways. But from a ownership standpoint and being a business owner myself, you have to make the best calls you have to for your franchise and for, the bottom line, the bottom dollar. So I think that can go, either way. Again, like I say, for the fans who are paying these outrageous prices to go see these guys and, compete and, pay for all of that because it's not cheap going to an NBA game, and then like for me, I have to travel 2.5 hours north, to Washington to see a game. So there's a lot that goes into it. But to answer your question, it's all about, where you stand and, what, are you the fan or are you ownership? I can see it both ways.
So for me, it's like this. I understand competitive tanking. And what I mean by competitive tanking is that you going out here, your team stink.
Yep.
But at least you putting your best foot forward. You giving the effort that you possibly can. The Washington Wizards and the Utah Jazz should be ashamed of themselves because that's not competitive tanking. We know you trying to tank, okay? But at least be competitive. Utah takes two of their 3 best players, 2 or 3 of their best players.
Don't play them at all in the fourth quarter.
Don't play them at all in the fourth quarter.
See
that to me is cowardice. No. I understand y'all trying to get, the top guys, but at least be competitive. And whoever you get, then you make them a part of your organization. I understand everybody wanted Cooper Flag. I understand that. Let's be honest. When the Cavs drafted LeBron James, they tanked the year before.
Yeah.
They did. They tanked the year before, but at least they were competitive. You know what I'm saying? Ricky Davis and Darius Miles and those guys, they was competitive. They at least tried to play. They just wasn't good enough, okay? But I don't like the fact that your team is not good, and even the good pieces that you do have, you don't play them. And I heard, I don't know if it was, I think it was Richard Jefferson who said there's a way to stop that tanking. And he came up with a pretty good idea in terms of making every team just have one ball in the draft. It's not because the team that doesn't win or loses the most, they get multiple balls.
Most balls.
Yeah.
He said, stop that. He
Stop
said, make
that.
everybody get one.
Yeah.
He said, make everybody
Yeah.
get one. So that'll stop that
That'll stop.
tanking, that outright tanking. Like I said, competitive tanking, it happens all across sports. It happens. Competitive tanking where you don't know. Okay. But people like, and Kobe talked about it, even with this load management.
Yeah,
They
man.
don't, the old school,
Yeah.
they don't like the load management.
No.
And Kobe, rest his soul, he said, every time I come out, there's a kid that gets to see me compete at the highest level. And they spending a lot of money, and I don't want to rob those families from seeing me compete at the
Jordan
highest
was the same
level.
way too.
Jordan was the
Yeah,
same way.
Michael was the same
Jordan
way.
played.
Okay,
Yep.
Magic was the same way. They ain't talking about
Iverson.
load management. They ain't thinking about that. But yeah, I don't agree with just outright tanking. I mean, at least disguise it. At least make it look like you're trying.
Yeah, for sure. Ditto on all of that, man, with the tanking stuff. I agree with you guys 100%. I got a baseball question. I think it's a good one from Mike from Seattle. He said, is two-way dominance like Shohei Ohtani something special, or will we ever see it again?
It's special for right now, okay? Because we haven't seen it, and I didn't see it. We weren't around when Babe Ruth did it, okay? But what this kid, Shohei is doing, it is special, and can't wait to see, what this season brings, because he's supposed to be pitching and playing in the outfield. So can't wait and see. He's a unicorn. You talk about he's fantastic. I go back to Game 6, I believe, in the NLCS against the Brewers, where he struck out, I think, 10 batters in 6 innings and hit 3 home runs. So watch out, because let's see what he does this year. I've never seen anything like it, and can't wait to see it. Now, I hate watching the Dodgers because they got billions of dollars and they got all the great players. Definitely not rooting for them, but I'm can't wait to see what this guy does. But there's not too many of him around. What you're seeing right now out there in LA.
Not at all.
Listen, Shohei Ohtani is one of one. That's something that is going to be a minute before we see something like that again. Okay. I mean, literally, he pitches, he can play the field, he
Steal
bats,
bases.
he hits with power, he steals bases. You won't see anything like that for a little while. So no, he's one of one. He's a special athlete. I enjoy watching him because I haven't seen a 5-tool guy like that. I haven't. The closest thing was Griffey. But Griffey never pitched.
Right,
you know what I
right,
mean?
right.
And he doesn't. And Shohei don't just pitch, just lobbing. Shohei Ohtani's a pitcher.
He's a pitcher. Yep.
He can throw. He can throw that pill. So
Sure
no,
can.
he's one of one.
Yep.
Darius from Memphis, fellas, says, Cap, you were in the military. Lionel, you're a coach. Hot Rod, you are a coach. I am a coach as well. And the question that I pose to you guys is mental toughness teachable? That's a great question, man. Is mental toughness teachable?
I don't think it's taught. I think it's the experiences that you go through, okay? The experiences that you go through and who's leading you and who's mentoring you. I don't think it can be taught. I think it's
agree.
just something that, we go through based on our experiences. Yep, based on our experiences. So no, I don't think it can be taught. I think it's what you go through to get to that point,
Yep.
Yeah, it's just for me, the school of hard knocks teaches you mental toughness. Growing up when I was playing organized sports, my father was there. And so a lot of things I got through my dad, you know what I mean? And so mental toughness is something that is acquired. It's not something that you just kind of like are born with, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have to
Yeah.
be through. You have to go through some things, like Cap is saying. You got to go
Yeah.
through some things so that when it does happen, it doesn't phase you because you've been in probably
Been
worse
there.
situations. You know what I
Right.
mean? So it causes you to say, okay, I need to lock in and get myself together. Now, there have been players that I've had that came in playing football that didn't have it, that
Right.
looked at me as their coach, as their position
Mhm.
coach, as the example. So
Yep.
I would tell them, if I'm not afraid to walk out here and play anybody, you shouldn't be. And the first time
Right.
you ever see me afraid is when you become frightened. That was the
Right.
only thing
There
that
you
I
go.
would teach them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
There you
So,
go.
but no, I think it's just something that is just because you've gone through some things, it's just
Yeah.
something that you just learn.
Yep. I get up every morning at 4 o'clock to go to the gym, but it goes back to when I was 12 years old, delivering the Cleveland Plain Dealer, getting up at 4 in the morning, pulling my wagon, delivering newspapers. So some things, hey, you learn early on and you just go through it. Just go
And
through
you
it.
got some that they get. You see that Cap say he get up at 4 o'clock. I roll over at 4:30. There it is.
There you
There's
go.
just two.
There you
No, I'm
go.
joking. There's
There
two
you
different.
go.
There's two different types of mindsets that you have out there. But no,
Yeah.
it's that what you see every day.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
We work on with my teams, any teams that I've ever coached, we do a lot of mental training.
Mhm.
That's not necessarily going to guarantee you mental toughness with your players because I think you have to have that DNA. I don't think you can plug
Mhm.
anybody into a system that really focuses on mental toughness and have that person develop into a mentally tough player. I think you have to have the DNA. I think you have to be open to it, and that's where you get your mentally tough players. But I agree with both of you guys on that subject.
It's a good question.
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely fantastic
Great question.
We're going to be continuing to do more of those. We'll do a couple of those at least each show. We had gotten kind of away from it, so thanks for calling us on that. I enjoy getting questions from the fans because you guys see things maybe through a different lens than maybe what we do on certain subjects. So we're going to continue to do that. But that is the 3 the Hard Way mailbag.
There you go.
Whose week? I believe it's my week for start one, bench one, cut one, erase
One
one.
of y'all's. One of
I
y'all's.
think it's my week. I ride.
Yeah.
Contraire, mon frère.
Contraire, mon frère. Is it you?
I think
He
it's
sound like
my
he's
week.
ready.
Okay.
Okay, we'll roll
I
with it.
got something for you. If
All right.
you
Roll
don't
with it.
mind.
Go ahead.
If you don't mind.
The floor
Roll with
is
it.
yours.
Roll
Here
with
we
it. I got my
go.
ink pen
So-
ready.
Start one, bench one, cut one, and erase one. We are going to talk about underrated point guards
Underrated point guards.
in
All right.
the NBA.
Underrated. Okay.
Underrated point guards. Okay, so we're
Okay.
going to go from best to least. Are we ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay.
Number one, white chocolate, Jason Williams.
Oh,
Jason
man.
Williams.
Number two, Kyrie Irving's godfather, Rod Strickland.
Okay.
Rod Strickland.
I remember when Rod Strickland played in Brad Sellers' thing at Warrensville
Up at the
High
high
School, the
school.
celebrity
Yep,
game.
at the high school. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep. All right. Because isn't he still on Kentucky staff? Rod Strickland? I think
I
he's
don't
on
know.
Kentucky staff still.
Yeah, I think so. I
don't
think
know.
so.
Okay.
Number three, played for the New Jersey Nets, played for the Cleveland Cavaliers, Darren Williams.
Darren Williams. Always loved his size.
Listen to Hot Rod right
Always
now,
loved
bringing
his
all
size.
these players back.
Yeah. I loved his size.
And last but not least, I spoke about him earlier, Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Rauf. Wow. Ooh, wow. Okay, I'm going to need a second with these. Wow. Because all these guys were underrated. Wow. Wow.
It's tough, man.
Okay. This is tough.
But the first one is easy for me. After that, it gets okay, Rod. Hey, Rod, clear something up for me. The question
sir.
was what with these guards?
Underrated guards. Who was the most
all were.
underrated guard of
underrated.
the four?
I got
The
you.
most underrated guard of the four.
All right.
So okay. Okay, so so to start, that's so it would be from most underrated. Okay, I see
You
it.
got it? Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
I
yeah.
got it. Okay, okay. Let me go first, L Train.
Go ahead, T.
I'm gonna start Rod Strickland. I'm gonna start him. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to bench Darren Williams. Like I said, I always loved him for his size. I'm going to cut Rauf. I'm going to cut him, and I'm going to erase Jason Williams just for the mere fact I just thought he was a highlight reel, and I loved his energy. He was an and one guy to me. So, again, I'm going to start Rod Strickland, bench Darren Williams, Rauf, I'm going to cut, and I'll erase Jason Williams. Those are my 4.
Okay.
It's a tough one.
Yep. I am going to say, looking at this, myself and the Cap are in line step with each other. I'm going to start Rod Strickland. I'm going to bench Darren Williams.
Wow.
Yep. I am going to cut Mahmoud Rauf. And I'm going to erase, as much as I hate to say it, I am going to
White chocolate.
erase my guy, White Chocolate, who I'm the biggest fan of. For those of you that don't know who we're talking about, White Chocolate, just YouTube it, man.
YouTube.
Just YouTube White
A straight
Chocolate.
mixtape.
Oh my God.
A mixtape.
Yep.
All right. Well, I would say that I was with you guys, but I am not.
Okay.
I am starting Mahmoud Abdul Rauf.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I am benching Rod Strickland.
Okay.
I am cutting Jason Williams, and I'm erasing Darren Williams.
Okay.
Wait a minute, say that again. Yeah. One more time.
I
Rod.
said I am starting Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. I am benching Rod Strickland.
Okay.
I am cutting Jason Williams, and I am erasing Darren Williams.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Now, my whole thing about underrated is when I look at a guy like White Chocolate got the name White Chocolate because he was rated. Like when you get nicknames, you can't be underrated, can you?
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
he's got to be at the bottom of the list.
But no. You got to look at Jason Williams. When we talking about Jason Williams in Sacramento, there were people who wanted Jason Williams benched. Okay, they didn't want Jason Williams. Every place he went to, they didn't. Whether it was Memphis, he won a championship in Miami. Pat Riley didn't want him there. They did not want him there. And I think, even though I know you guys saying he was a highlight reel, my thing about Jason Williams is he was so incredibly skilled that I think people didn't understand how skilled he actually was because they looking at the behind the back passes and he made everything look so easy. But Jason Williams was a problem when he was healthy. His biggest thing is that he was not healthy.
Yeah.
Okay. Rod Strickland was an assassin who really didn't have a jump shot. And people didn't really talk about Rod Strickland. And I'm like, and even today, people don't really talk about Rod Strickland.
Right.
And you know, when it comes to, and then Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, come on, guys. That dude was an absolute slingshot. Whether he was Chris Jackson or whether he was Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. And even today, when we talked about the big three, he's still getting buckets. Okay. He was just, you know, and Darren Williams, I'm not being disrespectful to Darren Williams, but Darren Williams, to me, he was to me. I mean, now, other than when he was in New Jersey, but even when he was with Cleveland, I was like, okay. You know,
I expected more. I expected more. He disappointed me when he came to us.
Would you put Mark Price on that list?
Oh, absolutely not. No.
Okay.
Mark Price is getting his love. He's getting it now. When you talk to Isaiah Thomas, the first person that come out of Isaiah Thomas's mouth is Mark Price. He said Mark Price was a problem.
Okay.
You know, because Mark Price was the first guy that they talked about. I mean, Michael Jordan even said it. Mark Price was a problem. Because Mark Price would split the double team and pull up on a dime. He could go full court, stop at the 3-point line, and dime you. Okay, so no. Mark Price is not underrated. No, people know who he is.
Right.
Listen, we've got we've got to rehash some of this when we get our guy Brad Sellers on the show. I would
Oh,
love to pick his brain about
hmm
some of this stuff. That was a good one, I Rod. That was tough,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
That
Oh,
was
yeah.
tough. Parting
Oh,
shots,
yeah.
fellas. Parting shots. Who do you got?
I'm gonna go ahead and go first. I got to give it up to both the men's and women's hockey team for winning gold.
Yep.
That Canadian team that we beat this morning or last night, whatever it was, that was a tough team. That was a team that was better than us, but we beat them. Okay, so hats off to men's and women's, and I got to shout out again Layla Edwards for that women's team, first African American female to play on the hockey team from Northeast Ohio. Good on you, sis. Good on you. And this is going to open some doors for her. So I'm really, really happy for her and her family. But yeah, give it up to, both the men's and the women's hockey team for winning gold. That's my parting shot.
And so my parting shot is more of a statement. I really urge people to check in on members of your family, friends, things of that nature. Because there's so many young people out here who are taking their lives at such a young age, and no parent should have to outlive their child. It should never have to be that way. And three, the hard way. We not political. We don't want to, we don't get in that road. But sometimes we gotta speak on things that are obvious. And so I really want to just urge parents, friends, family, if it's somebody on your mind, go ahead and reach out to them. Just say hello. If you got to art with them, drop that stuff. Just go out there and just love on people. As I say on another podcast, love on somebody, tell somebody you love them. Don't always assume that they know. And I mean that because a lot of times you feel like they know that you love them, but sometimes you got to tell them. Sometimes you got to let them know. So if there's somebody on your mind that you haven't talked to in a while, go ahead and pick up a phone and go ahead and reach out to them. And that's my parting shot.
Absolutely, man. That's a good one.
No doubt.
My parting shot to piggyback off that is Rondale Moore, wide receiver for Minnesota Vikings, had a pathway in the NFL of just being injured all the time, and it's something that really, really bothered him. Found a home in Minnesota, and on his first play that he touched the ball last year in a exhibition game, he was running back, I believe, a punt return, and got hurt the first time he touched the ball for the Minnesota Vikings. And you could see when he knew that something was wrong with his knee that he was just beside himself. All that work and coming back. Now, the reports are coming out that this was a suicidal thing, and as Hot Rod said, you just never know what people are going through. So make sure that you reach out and touch base with people all the time. My parting shot is not so much about that, although that is devastating. My parting shot is about a billion-dollar corporation in ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. When this news broke, I think it shocked everyone. I'm sure it shocked Rondale Moore's family and all of his loved ones. And when ESPN reported on this, I think it was Scott Van Pelt. They had a picture behind Scott Van Pelt as they were telling the story of Rondale Moore and his journey through the NFL and what happened to him recently. And they had the wrong picture. They had the wrong picture up of Rondale Moore. The picture that was behind Scott Van Pelt was Miles Price, who is a current wide receiver on the Minnesota Vikings football team. Now, think about that. You're already devastated as his family, and to have to view something like that on ESPN and see the wrong picture of what was supposedly your son on a platform that should be a billion-dollar platform, that should do the research, that should know the players before somebody signs off on that. So my thing is, do better, ESPN. I'm not saying it was malicious or that anything was done on purpose, but it is an egregious mistake. It is an embarrassing mistake. It is a pathetic mistake. All the staff that you have working for you at ESPN, somebody didn't catch that It's
Right.
just an embarrassment, man. So do better, ESPN. That is my parting shot. Rondale Moore, rest in peace, man. We will not only miss you as a basketball player, but we will miss you in the Minneapolis community as well, because from what I hear, you were doing some great things there as well. So rest in peace, Rondale Moore.
Also,
Great party shot.
Yeah.
let's not forget. Yeah, that's a great part shot. Let's not forget the Honorable Reverend Jesse Jackson passed
Oh,
away.
man,
yeah.
yes.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Thank you for bringing
last
that up.
week. Yeah,
Mhm,
let's send condolences to the Jackson family.
His family, yeah.
Pioneer in the civil rights movement, and
Mhm.
so rest in peace to Reverend Jackson.
Rest in
Yep.
peace. Yep. Yep.
There you go.
Thanks for reminding us
There
of
you
that, Hot Rod. Again,
There you
another
go.
great show,
All right.
fellas. We'll be back next week. We're pumping these things out. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Anybody that watches this show, here's what I want you to do. Number one, once you watch the show, you start watching the show, put something in the comments, all right? And then like and subscribe, and then share with somebody.
There you
Share with
go.
somebody. We are close to almost 500 subscribers for this show. Push us over the hump. If you could do that, that would
Yeah,
great. Keeps
do
us in
that.
the algorithm.
Mhm.
3 the Hard Way, we're always going to be here for you guys every Sunday. T and High Rod, anything left for 3 the Hard Way Nation?
Everybody have a blessed and safe week. Have a safe week. Be blessed. Yep. And reach
I
out to
just
somebody
said
like
it.
Hot Rod say. Reach out.
Reach out to somebody this week. Love
Reach
on
out.
somebody. All right, and have
There
a
you go.
blessed week.
Have
There
a
you go.
blessed
Y'all
week.
be blessed.
Again, 3 the Hard Way.
The
See you next
Hard Way.
Sunday.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.